Hello everyone, I'm Will.
And I'm Nicole.
Welcome to the Tiny Fungi Truthcast,
where we bring you real medicine, rooted stories, and no bullshit. This podcast is where fungi, plants, people, and wellness meet.
We're bringing you unfiltered stories, ancestral wisdom, and real conversations about what it means to heal and reconnect.
This week we visited the Peak District for an unscripted ramble about wellness and mushrooms.
We busted some myths about lion's mane, and we had a go at talking about mental resilience.
Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, we're off to the Peak District for the day.
See you later.
Quick coffee before we go. What are you putting in yours?
Well, that was a long drive, so I'm going to have some focus in mine. A little bit of a pick-me-up before we even start.
So what have you got in the focus?
Lion's mane, cordyceps, ginkgo, schisandra, all oxygenating for the brain. Nice, lovely.
Lovely day for it.
Gorgeous.
Bit chilly.
Chilly? What are you on about? Myth busting. Lion's mane fixes brain fog instantly.
Yeah, the reality of lion's mane fixing brain fog is we've got to look at what's the root of brain fog, and most often it's not even starting in the brain. Yeah, it's in your gut. So let's talk about gut health.
Clinical trials coming out of Japan showed improvements in cognition after 12 weeks of lion's mane supplementation.
So how lion's mane works to improve your gut health is it improves your gut lining, reduces inflammation, and feeds the good guys in your gut.
Superb. Okay. Now you see, when you take mushrooms every day, you can be as nimble as a mountain goat, like Nicole is demonstrating here. No dramas.
Bit of a climb that was.
A little bit, we're not even there yet.
I hope we're nearly there. So lion's mane helps to grow new neurons in your brain, but it's a holistic, long-term approach. It's not a miracle quick fix.
No, you're in for the long road, and the long road includes looking at your gut health, all of the things that you put in your body, and helping your terrain to be a clearer, cleaner place. Right, just while we're on the subject of brain fog, one of the main causes of brain fog is stress. And if you look around on this video, let's just do a 360. One of the best things that you can do to avoid stress is to get out in places like this, get some oxygen in your lungs, walk around a bit, you'll feel a whole load better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lion's mane is also praised for its mental health benefits, but again, combine that with getting out in nature and de-stressing, and there's actually scientific evidence now that shows if you're walking outside in nature, your stress levels are noticeably reduced. This is not new information, we just need to get back out in nature. Right, myth busting. Mushroom supplements are just a trend and they don't really do anything. What have you got to say about that?
Well, in Japan and China, countries that have been around for thousands of years, mushrooms are a part of mainstream medicine and have been since medicine.
So in Japan, the polysaccharides PSP, PSK are approved adjunct chemotherapy treatments. So that's a medicinal mushroom being used in mainstream healthcare.
Lion's mane, turkey tail, reishi. These mushrooms have been used for hundreds of years. There are numerous studies coming out of Japan and China that show how good they are for modulating the immune system and for a whole host of health benefits. So they're not a fad. They've been around since ancient times, and they'll be around for a long time after this video is finished.
So yeah, we're not jumping on a new trend or a new fad. We're really reconnecting with an ancient medicine and making supplements, making medicinal products that they utilise these traditional methods, but also the latest science, the latest research, and doing that in a really sustainable, small scale, handcrafted, unique way to support ourselves and anybody who wants to purchase our products and connect with us about health and wellness, because it's a journey, it's not just a quick fix. Look at this view.
Incredibile.
People think these things make them feel good, but it's such a short-term experience. And then when you start to be aware of how food makes you feel after you eat it, you just don't want things that make you feel sluggish, tired and bloated.
No, if we'd have had pizza for breakfast and tried to walk up this hill, it wouldn't have gone so well.
We might have done it, but might not. The top.
Oh yeah, made it.
It's a nicer summit than Ben Nevis.
Oh, it's a bit more civilised, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do a panorama.
Oh, it says we're not even at the end yet.
How can we not be at the end yet?
Look, there's a path down there. On my map it's saying to keep go straight. This is obviously the peak. Right, well, we just peaked.
Peaked! It's all downhill from here. No, but we were just having a little chat about inflammation and the gym and all of that, because we've done a fair bit of walking, a fair bit of biking, but recently we've absolutely started smashing the gym. Why have we done that?
Well, really to get stronger, so we can do more things like this. And then when you say, oh, let's go out for a 30-mile bike ride, let's go for a hike, it's fun and it's not like painful. Last year, I mean, I'm only barely 30 years old, and last year my knees were aching a ridiculous amount. I thought, this isn't really normal or healthy, surely, for a 30-year-old to have knees this achy. So we changed our diet when we learnt about like inflammation, and I've been doing physiotherapy, and now we're at the gym. Like yesterday we did leg day, and here we are hiking, and I feel so much better. Like that ache in my knees is basically gone, and my legs just feel stronger. Like I feel stronger all over, even mentally, from going to the gym and changing the diet.
Well, it's all about mental and physical resilience, and building up the idea that you can be in a mild state of uncomfortableness for a long period of time and then immediately recover.
Yeah, it's the recovery is the thing. If you're in a state of inflammation all the time and then you do something challenging, your inflammation's just going to keep going up and up and up. But if you can get that inflammation down, when you do things like go to the gym, that actually does cause a mild inflammation. But your body's able to recover better because you've got less of it to start with, you've got an anti-inflammatory diet, you've got the mushrooms, of course. It's all helping.
And what does that mean, mental resilience?
I think it means being able to stand up to challenges mentally. So, I mean, you're always going to face challenges in life. It's not like anybody's got a super easy ride. There's always going to be some challenges. So I think we're sort of, at the moment, I especially, am training myself mentally so that I can cope better when things do pop up that are difficult, whether it's an emotional thing, whether it's a grievance, whether it's just like doing some new challenge that I want to do, or something I think I can't do or I'm not comfortable with. It's building up that resilience to be able to go, actually I can.
I think that I can is very, very important.
Yeah.
Like we are going to the gym, but we didn't start off going to the gym 5 days a week. It's like, I can fit in one gym session a week. Great.
Yeah.
And you start at a cheap gym and you go, and it's great. But then soon you go, well, I could do that twice a week. Brilliant. You go twice a week, you go, I could do legs and then I'm going to do upper body. Brilliant to do that. And that feels great. And then you go, maybe I could go 3 times a week. And before you know it, I'm going 5 times a week to the gym. And I don't think I've ever felt better. But we were going to say that a lot of my limiting beliefs are self-imposed, because I've said, I can't do this because I've got bad knees. I can't possibly go trail running in the Lake District because I've got bad knees. And it's all self-imposed rubbish, because your body naturally wants to heal itself unless you've told it, oh no, I can't heal that because I've got bad knees.
You know, an interesting one that we're sort of breaking down at the moment is that with aging, we have to slow down. And it's like that one's kind of been smashed a little bit for us, because we were watching a documentary with people sort of at retirement age taking up running. And immediately our brains were like, well, knees, joints, you know, you're getting older, you have to be careful, like running is bad for your joints. No. It's like running can actually be helpful to strengthen those joints. And you're looking at sort of, as women get into like menopause years, you need to do more sort of plyometric movements like jumps and things like that to strengthen all of those joints. And it's like, this is all, we thought it was the other way around. Like, you have to be careful with jumping and be careful with running.
But it's, why do you think that? Why, you know, what's the reason that you have these limiting beliefs? It's like, well, because somebody said at some point while you were growing up, or maybe when you were an adult, you have to, when you get old, you have to slow down. And we just went, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Everybody's heard of somebody who's been a runner and they've got bad knees, or like, I think I first heard it maybe when I was 15, 16, 17, a yoga class, and she did a class particularly for runners, and she said, oh, like all the runners, you know, they're not very flexible, their knees are not very good, and you just sort of like immediately hear it and you take it in and think, oh, okay, I'll just keep that in my brain somewhere. So when I start thinking about running, I immediately go, oh yeah, my knees, not good for my joints. But you have to question it, you know, and actually find out for yourself.
Also, mental resilience, see, I nearly fell over. Also, if that woman, that lady, the yoga teacher, knew some specific runners who ate chips and bread and and just had a terrible, terrible diet, ate lots of processed food and did not take care of themselves, well, maybe they did have bad knees. Yeah. Right? But that's where diet and inflammation control and supplementation come in. Because if you're doing it properly, you're looking at yourself holistically. You can't just go out running and then expect your body to be absolutely A-OK the next day. Yeah. You've got to watch your intake of everything that you put in your body to help your body recover from the fact that you went running today. Yep. And my knees are fine, thank you.
When we're talking about health and wellness, it's got a little bit of a stigma, like, because we talk about it a lot, and I actually find it quite exciting to talk about, because you're talking about, you know, the latest books we've read, the latest studies that we've read, and it's all really interesting stuff. But it's got a little bit of a stigma around it, like you're either into this stuff or you're not into this stuff. But if you're like not into this stuff, like your health and wellness, you're like playing a bit of a lottery with, it's just sort of seeing what happens, you know, like I'm not really into it, I'll just see what happens, I seem fine at the minute, but it's like you are then playing, a lottery, seeing what's just going to happen.
You could go a stage further and say that if you're not actively involved in being healthy, then you are actively involved in being unhealthy.
So if you're not choosing the path that you're on with your health and the food that you eat, the way that you move your body, and listening to the latest research as well, because this stuff, some of it's not new, is it? You know, just like eat whole foods. It's because we live in a world now surrounded by processed foods that we constantly have to be aware of what we're taking in. What if a food has a packet, you know, you've just got to read the ingredients because it's so sneaky what goes into that stuff.
Hummus.
We love hummus.
We were talking about hummus in Waitrose though, weren't we? And you can't get, it says olive oil hummus, but it's got rapeseed oil in it.
Yeah, things that are labelled, because we all know olive oil is like the best oil to eat. And then you see it on the labels, you think, great, olive oil, and you pick it up and it's 5% and it's 70% rapeseed oil.
Yeah.
That's false advertising.
That's the world you're living in.
Yeah.
Without sounding conspiratorial, the world that we're living in is not set up to make you healthy, full stop.
No.
It's just not.
So you have to choose to be that active person in your life, your health, for your own sake, for your partner's sake, for your family's sake, and hopefully the people around you will listen to what you've got to say and they'll notice the difference. But that's a whole nother video, I think, to talk about what happens when you start to eat healthy and change and get stronger and fitter. You do attract the right people when you start making those like better decisions, but they're maybe just like not in your immediate household, or it's not popular to go out and be like, I'll have the non-inflammatory version of whatever you guys are eating, like the burgers, the bread, the gluten-free beer, because you have to make these slight adjustments. They're not like you can't ever go out and enjoy yourself.
Also, it's like, do you want the gluten-free beer or do you want the alcohol-free beer?
Yeah.
It's like, well, can't I have a gluten-free, alcohol-free beer?
You can just have a water.
I could have a water, and I do. I do.
Can I have it distilled with some Celtic sea salts in?
I don't think they sell that at the pub.
No. Myth busting.
I eat lion's mane and shiitake every day, so I don't need a mushroom supplement.
Okay, so the truth of that is that eating mushrooms, cooking mushrooms is great, they taste great, but the thing is, getting a potent extract consistently every day is going to be a lot more beneficial than only eating the mushrooms.
Why would you want to take a supplement over just eating the mushroom? Well, mushrooms are made of chitin. Chitin is basically indigestible. So all of the medicinal properties of the mushroom that you're trying to get by eating it are just passing straight through your gut. You're just not getting them. Full stop.
Yeah, the chitin and those fibres are good for your gut health. So this is why doing both is good. But to say eating mushrooms means I don't need the supplement, they're sort of like two separate, or they're two entirely separate things really, coming from the same mushroom. But yeah, that potent extract is going to give you the convenience and the consistency to have those beta-glucans, polysaccharides, all those beneficial compounds every day, and build them up in your system, boost your immune system. Like with lion's mane, you need that consistency over 3 months, for it to be really making an impact.
Yep.
You're not going to eat the amount of lion's mane required to get that kind of dosage.
No. We've also launched another product because as a byproduct of making our extracts, we end up with all the mushroom fibre, and there's about 40% of the actives left in the fibre. So you can now buy that as a dehydrated, fully broken down, extracted mushroom powder. And when you combine that with the liquid extract, you're going to get the beneficials from the liquid extract in your stomach, really easily absorbed, and then the beneficials from the mushroom fibre in your lower gut, fully absorbed. So that's going to be the strongest way to get the benefit from your mushroom supplements.
Yeah, so that's going to boost everything, like the immediate effects and then the long-term effects for feeding your good bacteria in your gut, improving your microbiome. Mushrooms are great for that. As you can see, the sun's out and it's lovely. We were just talking about maybe we're getting a little bit sunburnt, and that's not really a major problem. I think we were just talking a little bit about the fear of the sun and how we're so kind of sheltered from it. We're always covering up, and most people don't really go outside until it is like this hot part of the day. But we heard a lady, I think she was from New Zealand, a naked doctor.
Naked doctor?
Yeah, talking about getting out in the morning with that early sun, like the first bit of sun in the day, and your skin actually adapts to that sunlight, and then it creates, I can't remember the science behind it.
Melanin, isn't it?
Yeah, so it has its natural protection against getting burned. If you get out in that morning sun, when you're out and the sun later and it's hotter, you're not going to get burned. But what we have this habit of doing is covering ourselves up either with clothes or with sun cream. And then, obviously rates of skin cancer have increased. But then there's talk about what's actually causing that. Is it a lot of the chemicals in sun creams and things like this? But it is good to get out in the sun. It does make you feel good. You are getting a lot of vitamin D when the sun's out.
There's that whole school of thought that the sun is the primary energy source of all life on planet Earth, right?
Yeah.
The sun feeds the plants feed the animals feed the humans. But when you're out in the sun, you can just cut that chain down to the sun feeds the humans.
Yeah.
And plenty of people do. I thought I'd make this next portion of the walk a little bit more interesting. So whenever Nicole says the word mushroom, I'm going to do 10 press-ups. Nicole.
Look what happens when you get in the flow and you start talking.
We were talking about mental resilience, right?
I know, and then you check your map and you're like, forget everything I said. We're idiots, we don't know anything. We've done about an extra mile for no reason and we're out here burning in the sun.
Look, I was waiting for a right turn so we could get in these woods so that we can cool down and eat some grub. Yeah. And here we are going in the woods, so I mean it was probably just meant to be,
wasn't it?
It's
meant to be, absolutely. I looked at the map and I was just like, shall I say anything? We've gone about a mile out of the way.
That's all right, it's only an extra mile.
Oh, this does look lovely. We're probably going to find maybe some epic mushrooms in here, who knows?
Epic. What are you saying, love?
Feels strong.
Real strong. Look at these woods as well.
It's pine, isn't it?
Yeah. Really cool. So it's all about making good choices, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So you made this nice tuna salad.
Yep, got some ferments in there, some pickled radish, basically a whole rainbow.
That's it, it's going to keep us going to the end of the walk. Mm-hmm. No need for Greggs the Bakers.
I said mushrooms.
Yeah, right, let's go.
About 10?
10. You know what we haven't seen many of?
Mushrooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I messed up my counting. That's 5.
Don't do me in.
That's pretty up there. Little protein boost.
What you got there then?
So I've got an almond and coconut milk protein drink with a bit of our matcha. So it is slightly green. And then I'm gonna add a couple of doses, because we're gonna share this, of our Super 8. So that's 1, 2. So we've just had our lunch, and then we're just gonna give ourselves a bit of hydration. And you've got 6 different mushrooms in there. Turkey tail being great for your digestion, your gut health. It's gonna help feed the microbiome. Nettles and cleavers. And then all the other mushrooms are anti-inflammatory, good for gut health, good for the immune system. So it's gonna give us a little anti-inflammatory boost, because we have been out walking in the sun for a few hours now.
Days.
All right. That's nice. Want some?
Oh yeah.
So I prepared that this morning, and it didn't take a lot of preparation. You went out to the gym, and I spent probably, I didn't time it, but maybe 45 minutes preparing stuff for today. So we got water with electrolytes in, because it's hot. That little matcha shake was literally almond milk, protein powder, matcha. That's it. And then you just saw us add the Super 8 tincture, which is really easy and convenient to just carry with you. And then the lunch is a salad, some tuna, some pickles. You got like ferments again for your gut health. And then in that 45 minutes as well, I prepped the slow cooker for dinner. So when we get home, we've got dinner to eat. So didn't take long, and that's like 2 meals. Did have some eggs before we came out.
Yeah, we did.
But the drinks as well, like drinks, good quality drinks with no like artificial sweeteners and sugars and junk in them are just as important as the food.
I was going to say, full disclosure, it was a 2-hour drive to get here, and we did buy some drinks from a petrol station.
Trying to pick something
There's nothing
healthy.
There's nothing healthy in those places. I don't care what it says on the bottle. It's all rubbish.
Yeah, if it says no sugar, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
If it's full of sugar, that's a red flag.
You can't. A bottle of water is about the best you're going to do.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that. We made poor choices, and I bought an iced tea thing, which wasn't too bad, and then there was some fruit juice in a can thing, and basically we tipped it away. It was just bloody horrible.
Yeah, it was hot. We wanted a cold drink, but yeah, we should have just really gone for a water.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can have the best of intentions. You can prep all your food all day.
Yeah,
but it's hard in the moment when you're hot and you need a drink and that. But stick to your principles and just have a bottle of water.
Yeah.
That's what we should have done.
Yeah, I mean we've burned off whatever was in that bottle earlier.
Sorbitol.
It's just nasty, those kind of things. We'll have to do a whole video on
Yeah.
stuff to avoid like that and the reasons why. But basically, if you don't know what it is, then you probably shouldn't have it, full stop, really.
Yeah. Good shout.
That's the thing, we don't know what any of these things are, what they're made from, or anything.
No.
It's easy to say that, but it really is true. When you just take a second to think about it, what is
Sorbitol.
sucralose? What is aspartame? Like,
I don't even get that.
All of these names, they sound more like something you find in a chemistry table than in your food cupboard.
Yeah.
There are things that are natural and that are okay in small amounts. Like, we're not totally against sugar. You're active, you're burning sugar. That's okay.
I go to the gym 5 times a week. I need calories.
And carbohydrates.
and carbohydrates.
Aren't the enemy.
Yeah. Honey is fantastic. You don't need to eat a pot of it every single day. But there's nothing wrong with a bit of honey every now and again.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with potatoes. Ideally, you'd have heirloom variety potatoes, but really, if you're burning carbs, potatoes.
Any potato will do.
But carrots are better, Swedes better, turnips better, sweet potatoes are better.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yeah. Anything whole food, natural, that you know where it's come from and what it is the main thing.
If it has a barcode on it, chances are it's going to be ultra processed rubbish.
Yeah.
Podcast life. So did you have a nice walk today?
Yeah, it's been great. The weather's been absolutely stunning.
Hottest day of the year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy really for April.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely route this. We've done about 4.6 miles so far. Probably half a mile till the end.
Probably,
Not
yeah.
too much further.
We're going to have a nice alcohol-free beer in the pub when we get there.
Sounds good.
Yeah.